It's pretty difficult to be a hunter in Identity V. If you think about it logically, you realize that it's 4 brains against 1. By the time you knock down your first survivor, or even chair them, you realize that already 3 ciphers have just popped, and there are 2 remaining. There isn't much else you can do except for wait and hope that they don't decode them any faster, and that one of the survivors makes a mistake in the rescue. Yet, as a hunter, there are some things that you can do to take the survivors by surprise, or maybe even shorten a chase sooner than expected. Let's start. In today's meta, Forward is a very popular survivor, due to his ability to harass the hunter when they're chasing somebody, also because as a hunter you constantly have a fear of picking up a survivor knowing that there might be a Forward in the area. As soon as you bend down to go and pick up the survivor, you can see this Forward in the corner of your eye hurtling towards you, stunning you as soon as you finish your pickup animation, dropping the survivor and then being free. Or maybe there's a situation when you're trying to catch a dancer in a small boxed area and you realize that they use their music box to slow you down or speed themselves up. Now you can't catch up to them, but if you want to go and break their music box, you now need to go and bend down to break it. But usually dancers don't just place them in the middle of nowhere, they place them under a pallet, of course they do. So what happens when you bend over to break it and you're in the animation of breaking? They come over, they pallet stun you. Well, here is one way of you baiting survivors into coming too close to you in these types of situations, maybe even giving you the chance to go and hit them. When going to pick up a survivor, or to break a music box or some other item like a catapult from the new survivor toy merchant, instead of doing that action straight away, for example the pickup, don't pick them up automatically. Use one of your more extravagant emotes, because in most cases survivors are just waiting with their finger over the ability button, just waiting for you to make any other move that is not a walking animation, so they can press the button and not miss their stun or not miss their abilities. So in most cases, as soon as they notice that you're doing a movement that is not natural, they will assume that it is you bending down to pick up or to break the object. Because of this, they come close to you to try and use their abilities, and you are free to hit them because you aren't stuck in any animation. In the case of something like a wildling or a Forward coming towards you, you can maybe hit them before they stun you, or at least you can put them in their cooldown so you can pick up the survivor without any problems. This is quite a gamble as to whether it will work or not, but I do think it's definitely worth a try, at least if you're in one of these situations. Another trick that you see often in higher tiers and what higher tier players usually do is this nifty little trick. By holding the blink trait when you're trying to pick up a survivor and you know that there's another survivor around who might want to stun you, for example Coordinator, Wildling, Enchantress or some other type of character, you can hold the blink, pick up the survivor and then release the blink to quickly blink forwards. Usually you can't use this trait once you have them in balloons, but if you're holding it before you have them in balloons, it will activate. You can use this, for example, to dodge a wildling who might try and hit you and make you drop the survivor. You can use it to dodge a Forward who's hurtling towards you at the speed of light. You can even use it to teleport yourself through a really weird wall, especially if the chair is at a very big distance away from you and you can't afford to go around the wall because you know that the survivor might struggle free. So you can use this blink ability to quickly teleport through a wall and then shorten the distance between you and the chair. Talking of blink, blink has a lot of different interactions and different things that you can do that may seem very, very overpowered. Here I will list a few of these different interactions and things that you can do with blink. You can use blink to quickly teleport yourself through a wall. This can be used in some very specific places of the map to take some survivors by surprise. You can also use it just to teleport yourself on a second floor down to a bottom floor, especially if you know that a survivor just jumped down. One of the strongest areas is the factory within Leo's memory. Usually you'll see a survivor jump down the ledge from the staircase and then double back and go through the window. This can be a pain because it wastes a lot of time as a hunter, but you can actually blink when you're on the second floor through the wall and land in front of the window as long as you blinked right above that window. This will mean that once they've finished the vault, you'll be right in front of them ready to terror shock them. Another great place within this factory is blinking through the railings, landing in front of the main entrance to the factory. This can be very useful if you want to get some attack recovery once you hit the survivor who might be coming to rescue within the factory. This can happen, for example, if they're trying to come into basement or to that chair that's right next to the Cipher. If a survivor just vaulted the window on the second floor and you know that they're going down the big staircase on the outside, you can also blink next to the second floor window and blink through the wall, landing yourself on the other side of the building on the staircase right in front of the survivor. If you time it just right, you can also get no attack recovery if you hit them. Second, you can hold blink just before you hit a survivor who's about to vault a window. This ability is very useful because in most cases survivors will take the hit before vaulting the window because they are too terrified to get terror shocked by accident. When you know that there's a survivor who's waiting for you to hit them before they vault, hold your blink ability, hit them, and then release the blink to go through the wall. This will only work if you are on a second floor though. Once you go through the wall, you'll get no attack recovery and you'll land at the bottom waiting for them to land as well. You can then instantly attack them as they land perfectly right in front of you. Third, on certain maps there are certain chairs that have second floors right above them. You can use blink to be able to teleport through a railing or through a wall to teleport above the chair, and once the survivor is trying to rescue, you can possibly terror shock them or at least double hit them because you get no attack recovery because you are falling. For example, on Ever Sleeping Town, there's the chair next to the little staircase in the middle of the map. You can stand at the top of the staircase and blink through the railing as soon as a survivor comes to rescue. You can then get either a double attack or possibly even a terror shock. The same can happen in Leo's factory, but also you can use this on every map if you're trying to stop a rescue in basement. I have occasionally come into this situation as a survivor when I'm trying to rescue a survivor who is on the chair right next to the exit to the basement to realize that the hunter just blinked through the wall from the staircase, landing right on top of me with no attack recovery and possibly even terror shocking me. This is one of the strongest implementations of this, since you can't see where the hunter is coming from and you don't know if he's going to go down the stairs or through the wall of the stairs. The Persona web trait Quenching Thirst is very popular and used very often, but it's not often used to its fullest potential. Some top tier players will use Quenching Thirst by waiting those 50 seconds so that they can find the main decoder of the team. Usually, if they can't find the decoder straight away at the beginning of the match, they will try and wait these 50 seconds to see if they can find the decoder, especially if you're playing someone like Wu Chang. But instead of just wasting their time standing there waiting the 50 seconds, what they usually will do is they will chase one of the survivors so that they are not decoding. By reducing the number of survivors that are decoding, you can actually waste those 50 seconds without too many consequences. As soon as those 50 seconds are over, you can then see where each member is on the map. You find the decoder and you can use something like teleport to get towards them, or one of your abilities. In higher tiers though, this strategy is well known, so you do need to be careful that most decoders will wait the 50 seconds and then go and hide somewhere away from a cipher. This will prevent them from being caught out in the middle of a decoding section, or from getting caught too soon as the hunter teleports towards them. Ever ended up in a situation where there's one cipher remaining and it's primed and you're right next to it, also maybe one or two other survivors are there with you too. You're too scared to hit them because as soon as you hit them, they will pop the cipher, and they're too scared to pop the cipher because in most cases you will then have detention and you will get them down instantly. This little stare down can take a long time, and most hunters will quickly try to switch to abnormal to reset the cipher, but in most cases this does not work because the abnormal animation takes too long. Most survivors will hear the notification of the sound that the hunter has switched abilities, and they will know that they switched to abnormal. In this case, they will then quickly pop the cipher just because they don't want to risk losing by wasting more time decoding. There's one way of you preventing this, or at least reducing the likelihood of you losing the match. This is by not switching to abnormal. If you're right in front of the cipher and they're about to pop it and you're both in this stare down situation, use trump card to switch your ability not to abnormal but to something else like teleport or maybe even patroller. As soon as the survivors hear the changing ability sound, they will try and pop the cipher because they don't want to risk losing. In this case, you didn't waste one of your traits by switching to an ability that is useless, and now you have access to patroller or teleport or something else along those lines. You also just forced the cipher pop, so now you don't have to worry too much about the stare down. Did you know that some hunters can use their abilities to locate the closest survivor to them? When playing Sculptor, and she has unlocked the Sculpture of Nobility ability, she can crash two different statues together to make the Sculpture of Nobility that will chase the closest survivor to them. By crashing these two, the Sculpture of Nobility will quickly fly in the direction of the closest survivor, even if you can't see it and it can't see it. This will help you to locate a survivor that may be hiding near you but you can't see them. There is a limit to this range though, it is 36 meters. In the case of Feaster, Feaster's abilities can help him also find the closest survivor at any distance by using his tentacles. By placing a tentacle and using the tentacle attack ability, the tentacle will then crash in the direction of a survivor that's closest to it. As far as I know, there is no limit to this range, so this will help you to know which direction to go. Axeboy can look around and try and locate purple fireballs. Purple fireballs are the fireballs that follow a survivor instead of circling around a tree. So by using this, he can locate the closest survivor to him, or at least the location of a survivor on the map. Photographer has a nifty trick that not everybody knows about, and this is called his card trick. When he uses his photograph trick to reverse himself back to one of his other steps, in other words, teleporting himself back onto one of his footsteps, he will actually be facing in the direction of the closest survivor towards him. This can be used just to locate a survivor that's near you, when you don't know where they are. Are there any other niche interactions that you know for a hunter? Tell me down in the comments below, and if you found this information useful, please give this video a like, and subscribe if you'd like to learn some more tips, some tricks, and maybe some secret information about Identity V that you didn't know. Take care guys, bye bye.